Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button and check the description box for today's topics. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Cannot complain whatsoever. Healthy, everyone's good in the family. Friends are good. I just had a cousin visit Florida this weekend, bro. Honestly, had like the most lit weekend in a long time. Like just vibes at the house. Went to the movie theater, saw Scream like you recommended. Highly recommend that movie. Like, damn, I was like, it was almost like too suspenseful. Like when they I don't want to give anything away, so spoiler alert. But like when they killed the son. And that whole part with like the fridge opening, fridge closing, fridge open. I'm like, bro, just kill him, bro. I can't take this shit.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that because a lot of these movies, you can anticipate them, those jump scares, but in this, they were teasing you for 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I was like, I even looked at my girl. I was like, damn, we should just go watch. We should have gone and just watched.
Brutal
Spider-Man.
Fucking death, by the way.
Brutal. Bro, I think everyone was pretty brutal, but that one was aggressive. Yeah. So that movie did the whole Sunday fun day thing. So I did 3 days that didn't really want the weekend to end, bro. So grateful for that, but back to it. And obviously we're inching closer and closer to the trip to Mexico for the wedding. So excited, bro. How about yourself? Are you
nice.
You're fully recovered? Did we give in and drink a little bit this weekend while the girl was out, or do you stay sober?
Yeah. So my wifey's back in Los Angeles because she thinks she might have to return to work. So she's taking advantage of this work from home situation. As far as me, I don't know. I thought to myself, damn, what the fuck am I going to do by myself for 2 weeks? My cousin's out here. I haven't really explored the city. And even though I know, I can have fun without drinking, I had already done it for 3 weeks. I had already abstained from it for 3 weeks. And I was like, as long as I do it this weekend, but don't do it during the week, I'll be fine. So we met up at a bar at the W and hit up another bar afterwards. It was chill. It was nice to interact with someone else. I don't have really any friends out here. So that was dope. And then other than that, just enjoying being alone, I guess you could say, and collecting my thoughts, trying to work on music and side projects and stuff and just be productive. So it's been a nice few days.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. And then obviously we're a week away from you actually dropping Cupid's Curse, right?
Yep. Cupid's Curse next Thursday. So I'm teasing a couple little TikTok things here and there, trying to experiment and see if that works out. But excited for that release. This one's a little bit different than some of the stuff I've released before. So it's nice to have a change of pace, you could say.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Definitely a nice way to kick off a new month. And yeah, you obviously have so many things that are about to go down for you in Mexico in February. So it's exciting just to at least have that. And then it's another cool thing. And then it's another cool thing. So yeah, that's definitely exciting. How is the, I know we're going to talk offline, but how is the overall planning for the wedding and the stress levels with that?
Overall planning's good. I'd say we have most of the things squared away. There's a couple things that we have to discuss with the caterers and transportation, but outside of that, there's no real stress other than staying on edge and seeing who's coming, who's not, because we've had a couple people cancel last minute, which is totally fine. It's not this destination's necessarily easy for anyone, but we've had a couple things pop up. Sometimes it's unfortunate because some of the things seem like stuff we could have been told a while ago. Or people are lingering, oh, I don't know about COVID. And it's well, COVID's not going to change. We don't care we understand if this is a roadblock for you, but it's not going to be any different in a week. So just decide today. Yeah. So stuff like that can make things a little annoying, but outside of that, I'm looking forward to just having everyone there and thinking about that moment instead of the shit that has to take place before.
Facts. Yeah. I feel like my boy who just got married at the beginning of this month, he had I would say it was meant to be 140, ended up being 115 because that many people dropped out. But also that was the first week of January, so Omicron was going rampant everywhere. So I kind of get it. They're yo, we're sick enough that it doesn't make sense for us to show up. But dude, for you, just because again, you've been married officially for a minute. Do you ever have moments like, bro, I could just have kept this bread and just like, not, like, you know what I mean? Like we could just like throw like a fun party somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely both talked about that. Like whenever we reach these moments of like annoyances, like, damn, we should have just, I don't know, taken a trip or just thrown a party at this spot or whatever for a couple grand. But I think at this point, we're just like trying to make the best of it. I'm sure once we're there.
Oh, it's going to be everything you ever wanted it to, dude, for sure. And also, I feel like at some point I read this or like a quote somewhere, like at a certain age, it's also like you realize that this wedding is like half about you, then like half about your family. Mm-hmm. And like your mom like is looking forward to this, right? So that's why she's like I'm sure that's like a big part of why you're even doing this at first. I'm sure like Sarah feels the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's those things. And I don't know, outside of that, I mean, we always love traveling. That's part of why we chose that destination. My dad is like on the more, he's much more of a simple person. I'll put it that way. So he tends to like be like, well, why'd you choose this location? Or like, why are you spending this money on this? And like, blah, blah. But I had to like reiterate, like, this is kind of the atmosphere we're going for. Originally I told her, I was like, yo, I'll just do this shit in his backyard and like, it'll be a couple grand. But I know like she didn't really want that. Like my mom definitely didn't want it. And like you said, it is unfortunately not just about me.
Right.
So I had to take into consideration everything. And I was like, as long as overall it's more affordable than like a California wedding, then let's make it work.
Nice. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys already been to San Miguel before, and like God loved it so much, like you wanted to have the wedding there. Like, what made you guys pick San Miguel?
We had not, but she heard about it through like some wedding magazine or something.
Okay.
Some online publication. She saw the pictures, fell in love with it. Did research. I knew a couple people that had nice things to say about it. A couple people that actually live in Mexico or used to at least. Then we looked up the pricing. We're like, all right, this is pretty affordable. And also not too far away, depending on where you're coming from. And yeah, after just thinking about it, we're like, all right, let's pull the plug and then, or pull the trigger and then move forward.
Yeah, don't pull the plug. We're too committed right now.
Yeah. Right.
Nice. Yeah, well, I'm excited, dude. The girlfriend's excited too. We already had the Airbnb booked, so just a couple more things. And then hopefully that COVID test shit on the way back isn't a big deal, but all good and positive things. So kudos to both of us. Definitely a blessing. Let's get to the podcast. Episode 97, right? 97?
I believe so.
Yeah, dude. So honestly, like I feel like the biggest thing we should probably just jump off like from the beginning has to be the continued attention the Fresh and Fit podcast is getting. We got a bunch, which we kind of predicted, we got a bunch of comments and views on the clip that we posted discussing it. And obviously that only has gotten bigger as far as not the buzz, but like the controversy and all the eyeballs on them specifically. I know there was a Brittany Renner interview that popped off on Academics' platform. Surprisingly enough, they were also on Flagrant 2. And honestly, just like the conversation around them just hasn't stopped. So I guess just catching people up on a couple of things and we can just dive deep into like, our thoughts on what they've said since, all the controversy kind of started.
100%. So, yeah, I mean, originally this controversy started because of their comments about Black women, or at least Black women on the dating app Black. And it spiraled out of control. Obviously, that started this wider conversation, and ultimately that led to several different outlets, interviewing these guys. We had our own commentary on it, but as far as the most recent one that's been drawing attention is the one with Brittany Renner, who I don't know what title she likes to go by, but I'm just gonna say Instagram influencer of sorts.
Yeah, that's probably the most like PC
personality. Instagram personality, we'll say.
Yeah. That's probably the most PC thing we can say as far as her title, for sure.
Yeah. And she, I think this is an interesting conversation because at least from the outside looking in, and even myself, the perception of her is, she's a gold digger, an attractive woman who likes to finesse men. And for that reason, I guess people thought this would be a nice
they thought it'd be fireworks
of sorts. Yeah,
it'd be fireworks. Yeah.
And Fresh and Fit would essentially prove, you know, the mindset of the average woman, even though I don't believe any of these Instagram personalities are the average woman from my experience. But you know, the things started off very fiery. I'll say personally, I was actually pretty impressed because when she speaks, she doesn't come across as an idiot.
Not at all.
She stands on her word. And honestly, I don't know if you noticed it, but you could tell that Myron especially was kind of, I sensed a bit of intimidation in a sense, or him being a bit uncomfortable with is he fresh? He's the taller, skinnier dude, I guess.
Like the Arab guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Sudanese. I could sense, you know, a level of discomfort when she started speaking, and it didn't seem like he was afraid of her. I think he just wasn't expecting her to come with his proper, that he wasn't expecting to respond to, because, you know, they're typically dealing with, for lack of a better word, I don't know, the internet will call them bimbos or gold diggers or whatever, who don't really have a motive other than just being self-centered and talking shit about men or whatever the case is.
And she even said that on that interview where she's like, listen, most of the people you guys interview are like bimbos, like, to quote her.
And I think what I appreciated about her approach was she essentially called them out on using insults or being dismissive of, in this case, women. And I think we've even experienced that in a lot of people in this space when they critique their message. The audience is quick to be like, oh, you're a simp or weak or feminine. Like, there's no real open-mindedness to have a conversation. It's as soon as you provide your opinion, automatically it's because you're weak or whatever. And it kind of reminds me of the analogy of when a guy, because like he said, oh, you're not special or whatever, which is true. Like, technically none of us are really special, but we're special to some people. And it's kind of like when a guy is hitting on a girl and he's like, hey, beautiful, whatever, catcalling. And then as soon as she rejects him, it's like, oh, you fucking bitch. Like, get the fuck out of here.
You must be a lesbian.
Yeah. Now, I feel like that's kind of how maybe not Myron and them act in their personal lives, but how the messaging kind of comes across, at least based on some of the things I've seen. Like, you know, if these bitches don't want you, they're just like hoes. Like, if they're not giving up the sex to you because you're high value or whatever the case is. I think the lesson I got from it, or not got from it, but agreed with, is that men in this space need to understand that when you do throw these insults or are dismissive of, you know, other opinions or ways of thinking that challenge your worldview, all it does is really show your insecurity and I guess stubbornness, if you will, because you feel uncomfortable that there might be some other truths. Because I don't disagree with every single thing they say. I also don't disagree with everything she said. But that's my like little intro piece. I'm curious to hear what you think, and obviously, if you're listening to this, let us know what you think about this whole fiasco.
For sure. 100%, dude. So for at least, so like, again, I want to talk about both interviews, or we can just like put it all in one. But for the one on academics platform with Brittany Renner, like, I expected fireworks, more fireworks. I thought it was gonna be like, yo, like a shouting match, like academics being a referee, like, yo, back up, like you can't hit her, like kind of a shit. I think they were surprised, like how well spoken she is, for whatever reason, even though she's always been that way since like I mean, she's been famous for like 5-6 years now. I agree. The Sudanese, what's his name, Myron?
Yeah, Myron.
Yeah, I could tell he was not stumbling words, but definitely a bit confused and like caught off guard, her phrase, because dude, I feel like he repeated himself to her like 3 or 4 times when trying to make a point. Like the whole thing about like, well, men are looking for this and then women are looking for that. And it's like, bro, we know that's how your stance is, but like, you're not really answering her question, right? Because I think a couple of times she asked them like, well, what pleasure do you get out of like insulting women? Like, because even like you saying like you're like, you're not nothing special, right? Like, yeah, that's accurate. But it's also like what we've been saying now, dude, for almost a year with these dudes and these different platforms that like specialize in like alpha male mentality. There's also that, right? There's also a way to say, hey, we're generally, we're all the same. We're equal in our approach to anything. But you just saying you're nothing special is an insult, right? So I just feel like those kind of things, like I honestly like, and I didn't think I was going to agree with either side more, but I was actually pretty impressed at how she carried herself. And I thought it'd be more of like a tear down of that. She even said like, yeah, I didn't want to be on your podcast because I didn't care for it, but I did my research, and it's not for me, but good for you for having a massive following and offering all this content. Clearly there's a market. Like she was bigging them up as opposed to just calling them like, you dumbass niggas, like you don't know shit. Like what it wasn't that, dude. So I guess that was pretty impressive. Dude, my thing with them, and again, at least for me, like I saw more of the Flagrant 2, like the full episode when they were on that platform. Like, it's just funny, dude, like how they're not backing down, like at all, right? And the conversation now, unfortunately for them, is not like, you don't like black women, fam, you don't like women. You know what I mean? Like you guys are painting women as these absolute evil beings that are just trying to fucking take down men, and that's their sole purpose. So now as a man, you have to play all these games and tricks. And it's like, dude, like, again, I feel like I don't want to be in a silo. Like, again, we all have our own experiences, like, but we can only go off on our own experience with women. Like, bro, I don't think a game needs to be played. Like, and I feel like I don't like how they generalize all females. Like, this is how it needs to be done. So it's odd how this all sparked controversy off that, like, I don't date the dark or night riding, all that bullshit. But it really do, as you start not even just finding more content from them, dude, as they keep speaking now, like, it's not even like, it'd be one thing if they just own their shit and like, fucking a dumbass comment, that's not who we are. But fam, like, they're doubling down on that. So making that shit look worse. And then it's also like, dude, like, fuck, bro. Like, I don't really know how anyone could fuck with you, to be honest. 'Cause again, I don't disagree with almost like 75% of the shit to say, but it's hard when the delivery is just so aggressive. It's like, dog, like, how can you actually think that way and like feel like it's encouraging to tell men to even treat women like shit? Because like at the end of the day, saying, treat them like shit first, because otherwise they're gonna treat you like shit. I'm like, bro, that's if you walk into every relationship like that, you're gonna be miserable.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And to play devil's advocate a little bit, show people that we're not biased or trying to like get clicks and shit. I think I do agree with like the sentiment of, a lot of women do think or behave in a way that's, very pompous and, I'm the shit and I haven't done anything, but like you deserve to treat me like a queen type of mentality. But my issue is, I think their experience or the women they're referring to is a very niche, small subset of women that belong to this like Miami club scene that they're probably around. Yeah. Probably the same thing for LA or Hollywood. And I think a lot of men who watch this episode and see these OnlyFans girls, for some odd reason, believe this is how all women are. I don't know a single girl who's even remotely close to fucking doing OnlyFans or stripping. Right. Like, most of the women I know are regular professional working women. Granted, I do think there is like a quote unquote dance that men and women play, but I think
that's courting. That's courting though. Like every relationship did that prior to social media, right? Like there's always like, yo, don't be too thirsty, but it's never like, yo, treat her like absolute shit, and then like, yeah, she'll love you and she'll know her place. Like that's the thing. Like it's all like this, like do this and then she'll know her place. Like I think the TikTok you sent me were like, what was it like if I think he was educating guys.
Yeah, like if she doesn't want to give you sex, pretend there's like another
girl on the phone
or something.
Yeah, because she'll get jealous and then she'll like go get sex, or like she wasn't gonna fuck you anyway. I'm like, bro, like how are you like? That's just like to have that mindset is just wild to me. And again, we might be privileged. Like like no homo, we're two good looking dudes. Like we're well educated. We're, you know, thankfully, you know, healthy and making good money. So maybe it's different. But I remember when I was in these things and I was still like, just like you talk to girls, you might get shut down. But I'm never like, bro, if I call her like an ugly piece of shit, or if I can get her to come home with me, I'm like, bro, that sounds fucking insane.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like in college, I did like engage in some of these like little mind games, just because some of the girls would do it back too and like ignore you for a couple of days. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ignore her and pretend like I don't want to hang out with her and that kind of shit. And I'll tell you, it's like, I'm sure you've done it before, but it's super exhausting. And then it comes to a point where you're like, if I'm really secure with myself, do I have to play these stupid ass games?
Right.
Because I knew somebody who literally, he worked for like one of these pickup artist schools, and like I couldn't go anywhere with this motherfucker without him like telling me about, oh, like he doesn't seek validation, and watch me talk to this girl and like this and that. And like literally his whole world was ironically about not needing validation and you know, talking shit to girls and treating them like dirt, so they would want him and this and that. And I think it drove him crazy because he was out of that. But to this day, I know he's insecure, because there's been many moments when he wished he had the attention and focus on him like he's always wanted. And like you said, for me, maybe it's a maturity thing. When you're an older man, you got shit going on and you don't, like, your day isn't you know, surrounded by this focus on getting pussy like all day or whatever the case is. But I'm at a point where I'm like, if you don't want to mess with me, then I'm not going to waste my time. I don't have to run over to this bedroom and have like my female cousin
pretend to call me. Yeah.
My side chick or some shit. I think their audience is or some of the audience is under the illusion that as long as they watch them and defend them, then they're alpha males, when in reality, a lot of these guys are simply lost when it comes to women. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the message, like anything, some people could take it too far and too literally and like go to the extreme and lose focus of who they are.
Yeah, I agree. So question for you though. So before the question, sorry. So I really think it's the insecurity piece of it, right? So it's like these men on that platform are insecure and are looking for a way to maybe a more even playing field, right? That's what they say all the time, right? Like, let's even the battle of the sexes. But do you think like a platform like this is important, like Fresh and Fit podcast? Because clearly they're doing crazy numbers. Clearly there is a large portion of men, not just American men, but you know, that all over the world, men who are super insecure, bro. Maybe they don't have good looks. Maybe they came from very impoverished beginnings. Maybe they did have this terrible traumatic experience as a kid where this girl absolutely fucking shitted on them in public, right? Because again, there are everyone goes back to a certain time where they had a moment in their life that was just fucking traumatic, and that just goes on forever. So clearly there's enough of that, of those people. So do you think it's good or bad for a platform like this to even exist?
I think it's really good, but I think they need to maybe I mean, honestly, I'm not going to pretend like I've researched all their videos and know all of their messages. So I'm not going to shit on their content out of, you know, not wanting to be speaking irresponsibly. But I think the message is a lot simpler. I think what it boils down to with women is you simply can't be the nice, desperate for pussy guy. Otherwise, there are women that are gonna take advantage of you and walk over you, and then you're also gonna go crazy trying to please women who don't want you in the first place. And I think their message from a macro level is that, like, you shouldn't put these women on a pedestal. Like, worry about improving your own life first, and then the women will flock. Like, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that sort of message, but I think a lot of these men, they know that they have to put in this work, and like there's this almost bitterness that might compel some of them to go to the extreme and like literally shit on women and become like physically abusive potentially, or emotionally abusive. And I think it's a dangerous path, because some guys are gonna inevitably go to the extreme and just be unhappy, because I think when it becomes too much of a game, then to her point, I think it may have even been flagrant too, but like there's got to be some sort of connection or intimacy that you're looking for. Like at a certain point, if it's just a fucking hole that you're trying to get, like
the box. That guy said box a million times. It was too fucking
yeah. I don't know. I think it's just interesting how much emphasis there is on this community of like getting the box, that it's ironic that they're constantly like, oh, the pussy means nothing, or like
yeah, but then why is
that's
that
all you're trying to fucking get all day? Like which one is it? And I find it hard to believe any alpha male is on the internet fucking Googling YouTube videos on how to get pussy. Like that's just not the case.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think that's like the overwhelming point of this. Like an alpha male isn't going to them, right? And I don't think you make alpha males. Like personally, like I think there's like there's a way to improve yourself, but I think there's also things that sometimes you innately have, right? Like not everyone is meant to be a coach of a fucking football team, right? Like you have people who play their roles. Like, hey, you can be an assistant coach, you can be the strength conditioning person, you can be whatever, but not everyone's meant to be the top dog. So I think like this idea that like you're insecure about everything in your life, and like you're gonna listen to two people, like, and that's gonna make you now like a fucking pussy magnet, bro. That's like I don't see that happening, bro. And then I don't know if it's I'm innately a simp and I'm okay with that title, dude. But the idea that again you're just gonna dog females, like, and just like like there was a couple of things they said, and they were like, and like with a straight face, like they didn't even like think it was like insane to say it. And I was just like, bro, that's crazy. Like, and again, I would like to think it's just like you said, like the Miami scene, and they're solely going based off that. But then they keep saying that everyone that, you know, hops on the show and in their comments are like from all over the world. And like these guys are saying they're having the same problem, you know, wherever they're at, like Iowa or Wyoming or some shit. But it's like, are you, bro? Or are you just absolutely terrible at talking to women and you want to fucking say, oh yeah, same for me? Because like, fam, like, again, there are 1% or 2%, like the elite fucking gorgeous bombshells that you look at and you're like, dude, I can't even speak to her. All right, bro, maybe that's not the one for you then. Like, there's other women, dude. Like, so like, I don't understand like why this is such a big deal. Like, there's been a ton of women that I fucking reached out to and fucking either ghosted me or just, you know, nah, fam, I'm good. I'm like, all right. I don't go like, you're all the worst. You know what I mean? Like, I'd never want to do anything like, so like, I don't know, man. It's just weird how like this could be broken down so much simpler. And I feel like the generalization of how all women are is like the scary part, which is why I think like with this whole like PR campaign after like those comments came out from Asian Doll and all those stuffs, like it's just like alarming that it's not them just saying, you know what, man, that was a joke. Yo, come on, check out the content we do. It's just like they're like tripling down, quadrupling. Like, yo, like fam, dude, again, they already have their audience, and their audience isn't going anywhere. So they're probably like, yo, I'm staying true, like kind of like Trump, right? Like Trump's like, yeah, this might sound wild, but my core audience isn't going anywhere, and that core audience is providing enough for me to be very content. So maybe that's what it is with them. Like they don't want to lose their core. But damn, as an outsider of that core, it's fucking hard to watch, dog. Like, I'm telling you, I watched that Flagrant Pod and I was just like, the looks I made in my TV, bro, was like, these some wild boys, bro.
Well, I agree with a lot of that. To give you a little pushback, because I know a lot of people are going to mention this in the comments, and I'm curious if you can elaborate on it.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I wanted to unwrap. But yeah, I think the generalization is dangerous. I don't mind them like standing on their point or their ground if they truly believe it. My only issue is I don't think they really thought it was a joke. I know based on these types, like I've met these kinds of guys before, they like genuinely don't want to date black women. And it's not even just like the ratchet ones. They just prefer white girls. And I think they went too far with how they felt, and they're going to chalk it off as a joke so that it's easier for their audience to be like, oh, these guys just speak it real, too real. Like it's fine. I don't think it really was a joke. I think they genuinely just find that like the Black woman repulsive from like an attractive standpoint. I agree with them. I don't want to deal with like quote unquote hood girls, but obviously that's not every Black woman. I think that was personally the dangerous way to paint the picture. But my question for you is, I've heard a lot of people in this group say, well, they're just being factual and logical, and you can't worry about how they're saying it. If it's the truth or they're speaking their truth, then that's all that matters. And and your reaction is how you choose to react. Like, what's your response to that? If, given that they, deliver these messages in their like quote unquote raw manner.
I know, man, that's like an easy cop out to me though, bro, because that's like, yes, my reaction and your feelings are your feelings. And I get that sentiment. But dude, at the end of the day, like when you're on a certain platform, like your word also carries weight, man. Like they're doing millions of views weekly. You know what I mean? So like to say that, well, if you feel that way, get over it. I mean, yeah, dude, but you can do that about anything, bro. Like you can do that about COVID vaccines. You can do about literally anything in life. Well, that's how you feel, so I don't give a fuck. Like, bro, all right, then why are we even on this fucking because he said it's a I think Schultz once or in one of the interviews, he's like, well, that's how you feel. It's like, yeah, bro, but we're here to talk about it. Like, otherwise, why are we even having this conversation, right? So I think that's just like, I think from them, that was too easy of a way to not really dig into them. Because like their point of view is always about other people, other men, how women are. It's never about them, bro. So I feel like that's an easy deflection. But again, it's fine, bro. But again, if you're going to be on that platform, your words carry weight. I feel like you have to be more responsible with the shit you say. And when questioned, it can't just be like, well, that's how you feel. So, you don't have to watch. Like, all right, bro, like, I won't then. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there's a couple of people I responded to, and I think I understand like women have a tendency to maybe be more emotional, and for a man, it can be frustrating if you're not basing decisions off of logic, let's say. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. There's emotions separate us from robots and AI. I think that's why people are afraid of the future of humanity, because eventually it's just going to be us fucking strapped up with no limbs, fucking our like the Matrix, and our brains wired to some
the meme you sent me that I sent back to you with the guy like buying property in the metaverse but lives in a fucking dump.
Right. Yeah. And I think people are forgetting like psychology is a very powerful thing, at least if you know how to tap into it and manipulate people, let's say. I think that's even a lot of what these dating coaches preach is at the end of the day, it is kind of like manipulation in a lot of ways. And regardless of who you're talking to, like the way you deliver the message is important. Matters. Even the people that are listening to them, their approach is influencing some or triggering some sort of emotional response, like, like confidence and enthusiasm and all this stuff. And I think they're quick to dismiss any rebuttal to these arguments. And to your point, it is easy to just say, all right, like you're triggered, you're pissed off, like I'm not going to listen to you. And it's like, what? I just spoke my truth, and now because you disagree with it, I'm triggered and I'm being emotional. I think that's where there's like a disconnect with the extremists in this community. And it's actually disturbing. Like, this is the first time I felt like there's almost a cult of brainwashed people. And I'm beginning to see that how humans could be dumb enough to, let's say, fucking drink a poison because they think the aliens are going to come to rescue them and they have to take this serum or whatever, otherwise they won't be chosen. Like dumb shit like that. I was always like, how are people so dumb? But psychology is a powerful fucking thing.
And they do, like, how can we be so dumb that we fucking elected a reality TV star as our president, and then we also had one as governor of California for fucking 4 years? You know what I mean? Like, dude, like, doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, if you sat down with your like child self and like, you're the president of your country gonna be a fucking reality TV star who owns a lot of property. They're like, but what's the qualification? Oh, people like him. Like, that's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So like, yeah, like, dude, it's scary. Especially, bro, like in the comment section, bro. Because I know, like, because you put me on to a lot of comments when you like share pictures. And I'm like, bro, like, I remember, like, I think it was on Academics page, bro. We like did like a fucking like test. And it was like, are we ready for the next Lil Durk album? And I just responded, no. Bro, I got 45 comments to him. He's like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you, bitch ass nigga? I'm like, bro, what? Like, I can't just like, So yeah, man, it's pretty scary out there, bro. But again, these groups do exist. So again, I mean, even like us on this pod, dude, we're looking for, you know, I wouldn't say like a kind of a niche market, right? We're trying to put people onto new music, bring on artists that you maybe never heard of, but will hear of in the future, talk about things from a different perspective than your average hip hop, you know, pop, you know, platform. So, but again, it's just wild how like something that seems just so anti-common sense could be something that is so big and, you know, profitable. Like, that's the disturbing thing, bro. Like, it's cool. That's why I feel like you and I are like are fans of like the Andrew Schultzes, and like, no, kudos to them. Like, I feel like they go about it in a way that is just like refreshing. Like, yeah, it pushes the boundaries, but fam, I don't think they're really trying to hurt anybody's feelings, put anyone down. It's funny as well. Like, that's the stuff that I feel like you and I resonate more with. And I think what we're trying to do here to a certain extent. But yeah, I'm with you, man. It's alarming as fuck that you can have these massive, again, yes, niche, but still, dude, millions of fucking people that can agree with fucking takes that are just like, bro, what?
Right. And I think, and they still keep it raw. Like, I feel like you can still keep it raw and truthful without insulting someone. Like, I could say, hey, bro, like, you kind of got this odor going on. Like, I highly recommend you shower more often. Like, you don't want to.
I post like my fam, you fucking stink.
Yeah,
you know
like, you smell like shit. You fucking bitch. Like, you should die right now or something. Like, I feel like people are forgetting that at the end of the day, these are businesses and the shock value does sell. So they're more inclined to have these viral moments where, you know, Kevin Samuels is calling someone a bitch or fat or something. Yeah, I'm not sure if he ever called someone a bitch, but I'm just saying, giving it.
Yeah, but calling like a woman like, hey, you want a man, and you look like a linebacker, bro, that's fucking offensive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's no two ways about it, bro. It's not like, oh, that's your opinion. No, bro, that woman was offended. Like, that's the fact of it.
Yeah. But the thing is, if she fires back and he fires back, then they'll never call him emotional for getting upset or, you know, responding with an insult. Like, you can definitely be like, yo, I'm sorry that you think you're capable of getting this man, but you are obese. Like, you need to work on your image first before you can expect this and that. But obviously it's a lot funnier to be like, yo, you know, when SeaWorld let you off early today, like, how'd you get on this call? Like, honestly, that shit would be funny, but at the end of the day, let's keep it real. Like, that person's not gonna be like, haha, like, you got me there, now I'm gonna hit the gym. Like, you're either a fucking consultant or you're a comedian, or you're I don't know, a troll. Like, you can't be all these motherfuckers at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. So just to put a bow on this, in case this shit keeps going viral, but do you think, because I know a lot of people, especially on the Academics YouTube page, were coming for Fresh and Fit, like, cancel them. Like, I personally don't think they're getting canceled, to all the points we just made. So yeah, like, what do you think the future is for them? Like, are they going to be negatively impacted by this at all? Because personally, I just feel like, if anything, this just like made their voice that much louder with their own core audience. I think their core audience is seeing like these guys gain more popularity, and it probably should recommend more people to them, to be honest. Yeah,
I think it's helping them. I think that's part of the reason why they're not backing down. Otherwise, they would be called simps. And I don't personally even want them to be canceled. I just want
not at all.
Their audience to just be a little more open-minded. It doesn't mean you have to fucking start buying bitches flowers for no reason and shit. Just be a little more open-minded. You're allowed to challenge your heroes without fucking insulting them or other people. That's all I think we're trying to say. And if you can't do that, then something's actually wrong with you. Maybe you aren't an alpha male. Maybe you're a sheep. And I think like I just encourage people to be a little more open-minded. But at the end of the day, I'm not a fan of cancel culture, especially because it's not like anyone, I would hope not, is dying behind this shit. So.
Yeah. Dude, I think there's two people sharing their opinion, as we are, as other platforms are. And if you want to, like, to the point, if you want to listen, listen. If you don't. But you would just hope, I think someone said this in the comments or something, but like, at the end of the day, you would hope the people listening take it for what it is and then aren't out in the actual world where real shit happens, right? Not just on these fucking hour clips, and aren't out in the world like trying to really hurt people's mentally, bro. Because like, from at least the examples they gave and on different things of their content, like, fam, if you say that shit to a woman or treat a woman like that or go into a relationship that way, bro, you're mentally fucking with her. Like, bad, bro. So like, that's the consequence, I think, for some of these things. So I would just hope, like, yeah, dude, good for them. They have a massive platform, making a ton of money. But I would just say, like, everything, bro, it's not a blanket statement. Like, there's parts of it, like a buffet you can take and say, all right, cool, I'm good with this. You know what? I'm not cool with that. Because at the end of the day, like, if you just take this all in, there is going to be an army of men just out there ready to fucking, for their own personal benefit of getting the box, ready to really fuck up a women's psyche. And dude, that could have consequences that dude will never maybe recover from. Which sounds crazy, bro. But dude, if you just start seeing women feeling absolutely insecure, bro, this shit could be, these OnlyFans pages could be wild, bro. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, it's just a whole world of insecurity. And I think people need to realize, like, there are good women out there the same way there are horrible men out there who probably make women this way in the first place. So I think at the end of the day, like, even the bias against black women, I saw some people saying shit about black men too. Like, at the end of the day, there's good people out there. You just have to be good at assessing that from the get-go and not go into every situation with this pessimistic, like, bitch ass mindset. Like, there's plenty of good people. You just got to seek them out, but also in the right places. Don't hit up a fucking Miami nightclub expecting to meet, you know, the wife. Yeah, dude.
If the bottle service girl at Live isn't going home with you, that doesn't mean all women suck, bro. It just means that particular woman is not gonna go home, and that's okay. Like, that's okay.
And in fact, she'll probably go home with the guy who's not fucking thirsty over her on YouTube, you know, looking up strategies and shit. Like, she's gonna go with the confident dude who could care less if she's going home with him.
Right.
And these guys, a lot of them don't seem to make that connection in their brains.
Yeah. It'd be interesting though, like, what the average like demographic is. Like, not to generalize like who listens to the show, but like, what does that guy even look like? Is it like a 28-year-old male from an inner city, or like, is he from like the fucking boonies? Like, it would be interesting to find that info, because it's just like, it's scary to think like that could be like the guy who works in the cubicle next to you. And you think he's like a normal ass fucking dude, but he's like online, like, all right, I'm going to treat this bitch like shit tomorrow. And I'm like, how do I, it's just like, it's scary, dude. But again, shout out to them. No, I think we both agree, not trying to cancel them, but just, I guess, people who consume it, just be aware of what you're consuming. That's all.
Yep. 100%.
Awesome, bro. I mean, that was a pretty long, lengthy topic, so I'm a fan of that. So a couple other things. Man, I don't want to go from simping to this. We'll maybe get back to this topic. So the rappers making, I guess, memes with all the fucking money they have, and just like
the money challenge.
Yeah. Your thoughts on that, bro? Because I have my own thoughts on this, and I'm really fucking fed up about it. So I want to hear your thoughts about it first.
Honestly, I was like, isn't this challenge like old? And the couple of things I saw, I'm like, it wasn't anything super particularly funny. And it just kind of came off a little, I don't want to get flamed for this word, but like coonish. It was just like, fuck child support and like, you broke ass niggas gonna die and stuff. I'm like, when are we gonna stop doing this? Like, we know you have money. I could go to the bank and pull out 5 racks, like if I want to, and do the same shit. But what are we proving here? We know you're a fucking rapper. We know you probably have money, because these aren't like up and coming F-list rappers. Right. So I'm like, how is this a fucking challenge?
Yeah. There were some that were fun. I didn't think the child support one was fun. I thought that Nick Cannon posted one with like toilet paper that was like the feds are the IRS is watching. That was funny. And I think French Montana lost a bet and put like, damn, Tom Brady, like that was funny. But dude, first of all, it's not Mew. So that's like, I think Soulja Boy actually was the first to do this. And then I know 50 Cent, I know 50 Cent for a fact did this when he was in child support issues like 7-8 years ago and put like, I'm broke. But dude, this is the equivalent of like the Forex trader or the day trader just like constantly showing you how much money they make per day. And bro, that shit drives me up the fucking wall. To your point, bro. And again, this is not like, again, thank God we're both in good financial positions, at least, you know, aspiring to do more in life, obviously. But bro, anyone, like, we could do this. Like, bro, like I have different deals and investments that work out. I'm not fucking like on my fucking computer screenshotting the things so you like, and it's corny, dog. Like, it's corny. And it's one thing to rap about it, bro. Like, again, you would think in those raps, it's being done in a creative way that implies, yo, I got bread, but like, I don't need to just put it in your face. Like, dude, this is literally just like, yo, here's money in words. Ha. Like, dude, we know. Like, we know. Yeah. Like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I feel like it's, a lot of it is to impress like other men too. I don't think the girls really care. Maybe some like literal whores who like want the money, but yeah, I found it kind of childish. I thought we were past this phase, but clearly the mindset within the hip hop community isn't the most mature. So I guess I can't expect too much, but it was disappointing just because it wasn't anything new. I'm like, is this a real challenge? I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, but think about it. I know we brought this up last episode as far as like the tier level, right? The Corday is maybe a tier C rapper. It's not your elite rappers doing this. Like, it's not, right? Like, Jay-Z's not hopping on Twitter to do this shit. Kanye's not doing this shit. Drake's not doing this shit. J. Cole's not doing this shit, right? It's the guys who are like, yeah, we like you. But fam, we never thought you were like the best thing that ever happened to the world of hip hop, right? Like, Nas isn't fucking doing this shit. So it's like, it kind of just reminds you, like, bro, there are like levels to this. And like, it kind of, because dude, Jay-Z literally said like, remember that line, like, you put the money to your head, like to your ear, like, we don't do that over here. Like, it's like, bro, like, yeah, bro, like, why would you, like, we know, bro, you should have this money. Like, if you don't, that'd probably be a bigger problem. So, yeah, just a reminder, like you said, like, sometimes hip hop can be childish, and sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it's like, I think this is corny, bro. Like, corny as fuck. And it's like, bro, like I tell you, like, this shit reminded me of that, like, when, this is not like that much now, but like last year when Forex trading was like the shit, I was like, bro, like, if you're making so much money, why do you care that I join your shit? You know what I mean? Like, you're good. You know what I mean? Like, you are good. So like, this is like the same to me. Like, you have all this money. Like, why are you showing it off? Like, you're good. Like, fam, there's no need. Like, so corny as fuck. And hopefully this, like, that challenge is like over in a week. Yeah,
I agree. I think a lot of it boils down to the fact that they don't really, I don't think, value themselves too much, or that is their value to them, like all the money they're making. But outside of that, there's not much good they might be contributing to the world. So they feed off of that attention of like, I made it. But
fam, but this goes back to this entire podcast episode might need to be called Fresh Frit, aka Insecure, because like all this shit comes back to insecurities. Like, it's like, I need to show the world I have all this money. Otherwise, like, I maybe am not actually have made it. You know what I mean? Like that imposter syndrome kind of a thing. Like, unless everyone knows I'm the shit, maybe I'm not the shit. So yeah, but I feel like that comes with maturity. You know, I'm sure Jay-Z, when he was in his 20s and 30s, he was doing this, like, whatever the equivalent was in his own fucking time. But there definitely comes a time that you're just like, bro, like, I can make my millions and I don't need the world to know, right? There's a reason that Steve Jobs was a billionaire wearing fucking the same shirt every time you saw him. Like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck?
That's what's hilarious is, I mean, I know it's kind of cliche at this point, but, you know, the Zuckerbergs and Bezoses and those guys, like, are never wearing, they're not even wearing like Rolexes. I don't even think, like, something that would be tasteful. They're not even doing that shit. These motherfuckers are on like Mars sipping champagne and shit.
Yeah. They're not worried about like, yo, did you cop your wife to Birkin bag? It's like, bro, no, I didn't, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I copped her an island though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she owns the south of that continent. Like, so, like, yeah, we're good. But yeah, just corny. But yeah, I'm glad you added to the rundown. Dude, one more. Just because, again, it's so odd that we're gonna go from like woman empowerment to this, but I just feel like we have to bring it up because we also addressed this with like the whole like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion WAP shit from 2 years ago. So I don't even know how to pronounce her name, a Jamaican dancehall artist, right?
Yeah.
Shenseea? Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not sure, but I saw her on TikTok and I was like, damn, who's this fine Jamaican? And then I didn't even realize she was an artist.
Yeah, so an artist came out with a new video with Megan Thee Stallion. It's going super viral. This shit might as well be WAP Part 2. So, dude, this whole movement is what I want to talk to you about. This whole thing is like, dude, I'm all for women empowerment, bro. Like, yo, speak your truth, be who you are. But fam, it's odd that this whole speak your truth, be who you are, love yourself movement is also somehow like has to be lesbian focused.
Yeah,
like,
or even just sex focused.
Well, the sex focus is fine because I mean that's almost been like hip hop female culture forever. But it's just odd that it's like, all right, if we have two women together, they have to also be into each other and like be almost essentially looking like they're fucking on the screen. So like, yeah, this shit goes viral, and I guess like from financial standpoint, like they're like, oh well, they're doing that, maybe I should do that. But like that's like I feel like what our beef was like when fucking WAP came out, dude. Where's the artistry, dog? Like, where's the like? This shit just seems too fucking simple. Like, oh, because you're an attractive female, and so now you guys have to be like on top of each other, licking each other's necks, and like that's it. Like that's just like it's just weird, dog. Because I feel like there is a movement of other hip hop female acts that are actually talented as fuck, and like they get completely pushed aside because if it's not this, then it's not going to be all like it's not going. We're not going to be talking about it, right?
Right. Yeah, I did watch the video. I feel like the whole lesbian thing is more so for shock value. It's like, all right, we got two hot girls in here, like let's make them grind on each other, or scissor, or whatever the case is. But I think for me, I mean, one, the song didn't do much for me at all.
No.
Obviously it was like, I guess, hot to see, but I think it felt too forced. Sometimes these videos feel too forced, like to the point where I'm like, why might as well just put like a Pornhub link in the fucking description box. Cause this feels like the video I watched last week or whatever. So I'm just like, what was the point of this? And the song was like, whatever's, I think for me, it just seems like these female artists have absolutely like nothing to talk about outside of this shit. And I know a lot of them will come back and say, well, a lot of these rappers talk about fucking bitches and stuff, which is true, but it's usually like a couple bars here and there. It's not really the focal point of the song.
Or an entire fucking album.
Yeah, or an album. Like, where's the story about your upbringing or your ambitions and, you know, being depressed or wanting to see the world and shit? Like, surely these women have other things outside of fucking doing reverse cowgirl.
Right. Dude, that's the sad part, bro. And I get it, but that's like why, and not to push back at all, but just like, again, like devil's advocate, like I said earlier, like is like who's to blame for that though? Like, is it us, the viewers, who just fucking consume this shit like crazy? And then these people think, well, if this is making me money, I gotta keep like that vicious circle of like, well, I'm making money off it, so why would I stop? And it's like, well, I stopped doing that. Will they keep listening? You know, I wonder like who's to blame? Is it us? Or is it like the corporations who like are signing these women to like, oh well, Megan Thee Stallion did this, so that's who's the next one to do it like exactly like that? So I wonder, but I don't know who's to blame, to be honest. But I feel like it's just a sad state in hip hop where like if you're a female rapper, fam, you better just be gorgeous, body done up, and all you can talk about is sucking dick or eating a girl out. And that's sad, bro, because dude, we grew up in a time where like, dude, Missy Elliott wasn't the baddest woman in the world, but fam, she was funny as fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah. And super talented.
Creative.
And she spoke about guys eating her out, but fuck, dude, it wasn't the entire song, and there was nuances of the way the production was done. Yeah. It wasn't just like, dude, like, fuck, bro. I saw that video and I was like, dude, first of all, this is literally like WAP 2. And I'm like, dude, like, why? Like, what's the need for this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is the need for this?
I don't think, to your point about like whose fault it is, I think over time I'm starting to like blame the corporations a little less, just because at the end of the day, they're a business and they have business decisions to make. And if they know WAP and shit is selling, then it makes sense for them to just recreate that versus finding some girl who's not conventionally attractive but talented, trying to like do 100 times much as work to promote her and get it to resonate and shit. I think that's why a lot of people that don't have like the image end up being behind the scenes and like writing songs and shit instead, because they just can't market them for some reason. So I think, I mean, just thinking about like the OnlyFans blow up and all this stuff, I almost want to blame the consumers. Like I don't think we demand enough, or at least are disciplined enough to like not share it and not talk about it and stuff. Because I think we want to talk about it because we at the end of the day, we don't really care about it. But, you know, someone who does might actually like the song, and then they do play it over and over and give them streams. And I don't know, I think we're just a bunch of primitive, horny motherfuckers. And that at the end of the day,
sex
that's
sells.
why we like all this shit.
Yeah. And going back to our first topic with the fresh and fit stuff, like, dude, maybe we're being ignorant for the sake of the pod or this moment, but dude, sex low key does kind of rule the world. Like, if you think about it, like that's just like the one
like
thing
the whole podcast of F&M.
Yeah, like that. Like, it really does, bro. But it's just like, I don't know, like maybe we're just also like maybe too positive or assuming optimistic about things. Like, I just feel like we deserve more. Like, bro, it's 2022, bro. Like, are we really just like this primitive? Like, it's just that's it. Like, it's like how can I fuck? Or like, hey, if it's about sex, it's gonna sell. Like, damn, bro. Like, there has to be more. Bro. That's why, like, honestly, like completely off topic, but that's why I appreciate the fucking Scream movie, bro. Because I was like, oh, this is like a cool, fresh take on a fucking, you know, an old fucking franchise. Like, dude, I appreciate this, right? It's not just like, let me get fucking 3 sexy ass women who get killed, but they run with their boobs, you know, bouncing. Like, it wasn't that, dude. So yeah. Like, I don't know, I just appreciate nuances, bro, which is why I think, again, for us on this pod, like, I appreciate what we do with the interviews we have, because, like, it's people who are bringing a new approach to hip hop or just making music. You know what I mean? Like, how many interviews have we done and we're like, yo, what do you even consider yourself, right? Like, because we know for a fact, like, yo, you're not just a hip hop artist, you're other things. So I think it's just like, I don't know, the laziness of the artist and the okayness of the audience to take it in is like, fam, like, I don't know, in my we should be better than this by now. Yeah,
I agree with that. I think there definitely is like a place for it. I don't think we're trying to like
trust me, I'm not trying to get rid of Pornhub. Like, that shit comes in handy. But like, I'm not like, but fam, like, it can't be like you're not seeing Pornhub on like NBC. You know what I mean? Like, it has its place. What I hate about this shit is like, you're seeing this shit everywhere. And it's just like, fuck, dude, like, come on, fam. Like, we're better than this. This shit be like a charting, like, you know what I mean? Like, why is this song popular?
Yeah, it's weird. And who knows? Maybe it is society and where we push this misogynistic agenda where women are only sex objects and shit. Who knows? I'm not a psychologist or sociologist or whatever ologist that can point us in the right direction, but I do think we need to be a bit more open-minded. But I think there's probably a big portion of the audience too that just like refuses to listen to female rap. So
it's like rap. Like,
this is like their scheme of getting you to listen to this shit. Because if she was fully clothed, maybe you're less likely to give a shit. But
yeah, dude, I would only push back on that though, because dude, I remember being a young kid in New York, and like, dude, Lauryn Hill wasn't in thongs, and dude, Lauryn Hill was probably one of like an artist of a like generation. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like if the talent is there, regardless of the packaging, people will consume it, bro. So I just think this is the easy way, right? Like, Nicki has skills, like, for sure, but Nicki maybe like opened a lane for more women to just really, like, yo, get your ass done, get your tits done, and just do that, and you'll get on. You know what I mean?
Or even like I personally like Rihanna. I know you mentioned a couple things about like her having a huge team, and a lot of people like question the actual talent of some people if their team's too involved, but at least her content isn't like I'm a hoe like every fucking song, and not a hoe in a derogatory term, but like sex didn't seem to be at least like the overt focus in her music, even if though it was part of it. Like she had a lot of meaningful songs with Drake and stuff, and I just feel like that is a possibility too. And I don't want to knock this artist because I don't know any of her other music at all, but I feel like this is an attempt to get eyeballs, which it might be, and I guess is fine, but I think we both as fans of music just want to see something different for a change.
Yeah. Because I was just thinking right now, like imagine if we had this podcast like what 25 years ago and we were like looking at Eminem, right? Eminem did some crazy shit, right? Like crazy videos, crazy lyrics, to killing your mom, like dude, insane shit, killing gays, like wild, right? But low key, that was different. You know what I mean? That was the nuance of the time. So at least we like had our like we like, oh cool, I get this, you know, like it's a little bit wild, bro, but fuck man, like this is a different way to do it. Whereas like I don't know, dude, it's been like 3 or 5 like years of like the same shit. Like, oh, she's a female artist, all right, cool. So she's gonna talk about like, you know, guzzling cum, and it's like, man, bro, there has to be more, bro. There has to be.
And there definitely are. They're just not, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a mainstream. You're right. But I'm just wondering, like, if a female artist knows she has the skill, but maybe doesn't want to give in, is she more willing to just say, you know what, I'll just take the backseat and ghostwrite, or as opposed to I'm gonna push to just like get on myself?
You mean like depending on her looks, are those?
Yeah. Like I wonder, like a dope female artist from wherever, Chicago, LA, New York, is like, yo, I know I have the skills, I have the, you know, the bars, everything. But like, you know what? I don't want to do this. But like, is she thinking about like, damn, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna quit this, or I'm just gonna take a backseat approach, behind the scene approach. I mean, or is she really gonna push to like, I'm gonna do it my own way? Like, I wonder what a female artist is even thinking right now.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think the ones that do know they're like conventionally attractive and get a shit ton of attention, I think there's probably something with that mindset that makes them gravitate towards what's constantly on their mind. Like if you know you're sexy, then I feel like your content is going to be about you being sexy and good at having sex and being sexy. Whereas if that's not kind of your lane, and you maybe not, you don't look conventionally attractive, then you almost are afraid to go that route. Like if that's not really you. Yeah, dude. Wild times, bro. But again, I think I feel like all of this, I just feel like we expect more of society, bro. Like it's just like you know, that's
like,
at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think we just expect more, bro. But it is what it is. Anything else with these topics, bro, you want to touch upon before we get to Heat of the Week?
Nah, let's dive in.
You're good. All right, episode 97, Heat of the Week. What's the one banger that you were listening to, man, throughout the weekend?
The one banger, I was actually really impressed with NBA YoungBoy's new song called Flossin' with Internet Money, who I believe was behind the production. You and I both have mentioned several times that we don't really know his music. We aren't sure how he got to this like legendary status amongst the younger crowd, but hearing that song, I was actually really impressed.
Nice.
Love the melody, the beat, and I'm starting to warm up to
the idea of him.
The idea of NBA YoungBoy being one of the top artists to check out.
Is that on the album Colors?
I don't think so. Potentially.
Okay.
Let me see. It doesn't pull up an album when I look for the album. I think it's just a single under the Internet Money umbrella. But yeah, the song is called Flossin'.
Yeah, I got it.
But Close Nomination, I actually sent to you last night, I think.
The Future
DJ Snake and Future, You're on My High. Only reason why I wanted to bring it up is because apparently it came out like 2 months ago, and I love DJ Snake, but I hadn't heard that song. And that listening to that kind of felt like I had like a long conversation with my dad, and even like brought up ayahuasca and stuff. And for some reason, when I listened to that song, it almost felt like a trip, even though I've never experienced a trip like that.
How was the conversation with your dad about ayahuasca?
well, we were talking about other like personal things, and then it got to that point where I was like, I kind of want to do this to unravel my mind, because I feel like even this conversation we've been having today, like almost like a disappointment in society and being overwhelmed by the future and like, what's my path? Like, can I do everything I want to do and all that stuff? So I was hoping like a spiritual experience like that would help me out. So I sent him a couple videos and he was like intrigued by it, even though he's never done anything like that before. Because he's super religious, and I always mention like a lot of people have spiritual / religious experiences with it. And have like a new perspective on life. So that's why I thought it was something he'd be interested in like reading about. And then I heard that song and I was like, oh shit, this like feels very coincidental in a way.
Yeah. And there's no coincidences. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't hear the NBA YoungBoy one yet, so I added to the playlist. I'll definitely bump that tomorrow. But yeah, the future DJ Snake is just so underrated. Maybe not in Europe, where I guess like but it's weird. I was thinking about this, like, dude, how like a dope song like that, because it's not like conventional like trap beat and shit, gets like no play here. Like, dude, I remember like I discovered like a random DJ Snake album for like 5 years ago. I'm like, bro, this shit has like fucking 10 bangers. Every famous hip hop person's on this shit. Like, why is this not being played everywhere, dude? Like,
right. It's all over TikTok though. That's actually how I found it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's just the crazy thing about TikTok is the video was unrelated. It was like someone showing off some new product they got for their car, and it was just playing in the back. But it's like I went to YouTube and all the comments were like, who else is here from TikTok and shit like that. Yeah.
That's funny, dude. But yeah, great song, great find. It's an honorable mention, but now he's of the week. Dude, for me, talking about like good trips. That's how I felt when you first sent me Johan Lennox. So he dropped a single last week called No One Gets Me with RMR. Dude, super dope. Really enjoyed the chorus. They do a cool thing with their voices during the chorus that just makes the song just stand out a little bit more. It's funny because I listened back to the interview we did with him, and it's just funny how like now every time I listen to him, I'm just waiting to hear like how he does the strings. So I'm like, yo, what's it gonna be this time?
Yeah. Right, you're like, oh, he did that shit.
Yeah, he did that shit. So yeah, it was dude, a great song. Kind of goes in line, like, so I'm excited for the album to drop because I think it's, again, the message that he's been talking about, like, you know, super confused. I mean, this song, honestly, it's called No One Gets Me, but it could be part 2 to like any of his songs from like the last project he put out. Like, it's just like that kind of messaging, like, you know, people getting married, end up divorced, like kind of like miserable but funny kind of a thing. Dude, did you ever see the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
I did. I vaguely remember it, but I did see it.
Okay, so obviously this is you and I speaking, and Johan knows that we fuck with him heavy. So I fuck with him heavy. At no point this is an insult by any means. But in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the main character like has like a Dracula like Muppet play that he makes. All right, but it's like, it's corny. Because like the idea, like, yo, you're making a fucking play about like a musical about Muppets in a play setting, that's corny. But dude, the voices that he can create just sound fire and unique. And like, bro, on this specific track, like that's the vibe I got from him, right? Because he even mentioned this, like, yo, like I don't consider myself a singer, so I can hold a tune. So I think he does a lot of creative things with his voice. They're like, bro, this is definitely like not conventional, but fuck, this shit still slaps. And like, that's how I felt about this song. It's like, bro, like, yeah, bro, this is kind of odd, but man, this shit fucking goes. You know what I mean? Like, I really fuck with this. So like, yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to RMR. I never heard the other artists before, but yeah, I got to take a deep dive in his catalog as well.
Right. And I really appreciate artists like that, because, you know, it comes from the heart. And even if, like, for instance, J. Cole kind of does interesting things with his voice when he sings, even though he's clearly not like a singer at heart, but it somehow works because it just fits the vibe and the message and everything. I feel like Johan does a really good job of.
Yeah, dude. But think about even someone. I mean, not bigger than J. Cole, obviously, but dude, think about like Kid Cudi has like a 20,
Right.
not 20 year,
Yeah,
but like a 15-year cult following, because the moment you hear him sing, you're like, oh my God, he did it again. You know, like it's just like, it's insane. So yeah, dude, again, like I remember vividly, bro, I was in my apartment junior year of college. I discovered Man on the Moon, and like, I was like, yo, this is different. You know what I mean? Like there's so much that can come from a nuance approach to things. But again, back to our disappointment in the world, I just feel too many people are afraid to do that, bro. Like, again, you know, who are we to tell people like, I'm making millions of dollars doing this? Like, go change it. But it's definitely refreshing when you find these artists who are not only talented in just like the idea of music, but also have a completely different approach to doing it.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Awesome, bro. Well, great fucking episode. Plenty of topics and things for people to comment on. Let the people know where they can find us, and we'll get out of here.
Yes, sir. Check us out at audio-theory.com. New episode every week. We got merch up there as well. The Spotify and Apple Music playlists on there as well. So you can check out the Heat of the Week selections. We're, of course, trying to get more interviews in the works. A couple people reached out. If you're listening to this, we're not dodging you. It's just been a real busy
first month. Yeah. First month of the year has been like, I thought it'd be like an easy, like every weekend has been something. And it's like, yo, I got to take care of so much. Yeah, but we'll get there, I promise.
Yeah, we'll get there. And yeah, just keep looking out for the new content that we're pushing out. I saw that we got like 10 subscribers since last week, which is great. So nice to know that we started off the year not being stagnant. So hopefully that trend continues.
Big facts, dude. Well, my dude, appreciate you always. Love you. Stay safe out there.
Love you too.
We'll talk soon.
Peace.